Sup folks, just stumbled across this tweet from Battlestate and Escape from Tarkov. The community managers in Battlestate Games had a quick Q&A about the developments of Escape from Tarkov with Nikita. This transcript of it can be found below, and I thought let's quickly have a look at what they discussed. So, quick Q&A with Nikita, and this is Tobias Solemn. I think he's the senior community manager, and let's have a look. Alright, first question. Will there be tasks in the game where you take a more active part in the factions, such as help the rogues defend the water plant or assist one scav gang versus another? Nikita said, yes, we have such tasks planned, but I don't know exactly how they will be in the game, but something like this is planned for sure. Faction-based tasks and faction reputation and everything. Okay, that's with Streets in 2035. Second question, will items being much more difficult to find be a bigger factor in the final release of the game? Nikita, it will not be much more difficult. We will not change it heavily. I think it will be something like we have right now in the game. And some of the items that they said they were going to change, for example, with the manufacturing, like screwdrivers and tool sets, etc., I haven't seen a real big difference there. So, okay, that's pretty cool. Third question. Players having hundreds of millions of rubles is a factor in the game. Will there be any negative consequences of being very rich as a PMC in Tarkov in the future? Nikita answers, we want to make the gameplay cycle which will not give you an ability to be super rich. Really? So we will make more money sinks and everything just to balance this. So when of course there are types of players that just play a lot, like stupidly big amount of hours, and they definitely want to be rich and everything. So at least those type of player will be a little percentage of all the player base. There's already a hell of a lot of money sinks, etc., but it doesn't stop somebody that actually uses their brain to make money. Making money in this game is relatively easy, but I want to see how they're going to balance this, what other money sinks they're going to do. Yeah, we'll see. Question 4. Events have been very appreciated by the community. Do you think some of these events will happen automatically in the future? For example, suddenly raiders on factory, scav boss meetings, etc. Yes, the automatic system of events was planned a long time ago already. I hope we will implement it in the future. We haven't had an event since the Killer to Killer thing, and there was that BSG update that went out yesterday with a cryptic note and nothing. There was a small patch today, and that was just a scope fix patch. We all hoped it would be something to do with Lighthouse. Nothing. When? 2035 with Streets. Okay. Question 5. Some kind of team objectives or global goals is something that has been touched upon previously. Will there be team-oriented tasks that we are required to complete as a squad or global goals that have to be accomplished by the community as a whole? Yes, we have planned these types of events as well. But again, when? I'm seeing quite a bit of this in Borderlands 3, where the Borderlands, the players have to do X amount of kills of, say, for example, a certain faction or creature or something, and then they can get a cosmetic item, which is very cool. I can't think that it's that difficult, where basically an event will be kill 50,000 scavs over the next week, and everybody that does 100 scavs gets a armband or some cosmetic feature. It can't be that difficult, but when? Anyway, question number 6. Many weapons are simulated to behave very much like their real-life counterparts. Really? With things such as trigger weight, trigger delay, recoil, rate of fire, and so on. The Chiappa Rhino requires the user to push the trigger harder versus many pistols. Yes, it's a revolver. The SV98 as well. Is this something you want to have more in the game? Detailed simulation of weapon mechanics. Fucking stop there. I did an entire video on how the weapon mechanics do not work or even simulate. I showed a video of Iraq veteran 8888 burning down a Mark 47, 1,500 rounds through it. The action was still cycling. It was the gas tube that eventually popped out and failed. Now they want to make it more realistic. So he says, yeah, eventually, yes, we want to have these kinds of neat features and details about weapons, especially in terms of mechanics and how you actually operate a weapon, how you shoot and press the trigger with all these delays, and like the nature of recoil and everything. So yeah, we try and add something every time in terms of this realism of gun mechanics and everything. No, you don't. You fuck it up. Anyway, question number 7. Can you give an example of how a patch goes from plan to release at this point in the development? Given how you've explained that we are getting closer and closer to releasing the game, is there actually any room for new ideas in this process now? Or is everything decided already? And Nikita answers, the core is already planned and everything is settled, but of course it comes to realization of one feature or another. There's always some kind of room for good ideas and changes. It's not something big that influences a lot of change in the future. It is present because there are a lot of small neat things that we are inventing. An ongoing process of features and finalization even. So it's a pretty common thing. But for the development process, this is not good actually, because it's always better to have something settled with a solid plan and have these types of things. So, oh, let's do this thing instead. When it comes to actual plans and everybody is on their seats, you know, and they're just working on their features, and it's really not a good idea to change this plan, to change this flow. But sometimes we have a conclusion that this is better. This idea will be better with some additional things. So yeah, usually the process is settled, but sometimes we change it with different kinds of additions. My fuck, that's like a big politician answer if I ever heard one. He doesn't actually give you an answer, but okay. Question number 8. Following up the previous question, is there any room for ideas from a community? Example, craft recipes, event ideas, etc. Or for now, are you focused on polishing the game? Of course, crafting recipes, event ideas, we are always open for ideas like that. I read Reddit quite often and see different kinds of ideas. Sometimes I note them down and even create a task for it. So yes, at this moment you can still add something. I mean, community ideas and everything. But I think there will be a moment when there will be actual polishing of the game, and that point will be locked from any new ideas and stored for future DLCs. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. Okay. Question 9. Is there a chance there will be more varietyness in the game? Varietyness? What the fuck? For example, code generation to gain an access to certain areas of the map. For example, some doors need pin codes that change every raid. Codes need to be found in raid. And I heard somebody speak about this the other day. I think it was on Smitty Stone's stream, where he said it would be actually very cool. Like, you have to go and shoot some raiders in bunker. They contain a document that tells you where one of the scav bosses is hiding. And then you have to go the very next raid to that map. And because you go there, that boss triggers in a specific area that only you will know. It would be an interesting idea. Nikita answers, it's possible the whole feature related to code panels is still in the first iteration, just the code panels and the cards. We also have modeled a number pad, so you will need to enter actual codes, and these codes will be obtainable in the raid, or it could be cracked and in the hideout too. Probably using the Bitcoin farm, I don't know. So yes, we have these things in the plans, but I do not know when exactly we'll implement it in the game. I know when Streets releases in 2035. Are you? All right. And the last question, question number 10. Are you planning to introduce Voip radio so teammates in the same raid can communicate in a private voice channel even when they are on different sides of the map? Nikita, there will be radio sets, so you will be able to use these radio sets with the Voip, but on the radio. So yes, it's planned. All right, now I just want to go back to the start of this. I honestly just want to go back to the start of this. You know, community managers of Battleset games had a quick Q&A about the development of Escape from Tarkov from Nikita. This doesn't tell me jack shit. It tells us there are ideas planned, but we have no timelines, no conclusives, it's all, yes, this is planned. Yes, this is good. Somebody tell me. I've already decided. Next wipe, I'm actually not gonna play Tarkov the next wipe. I'll watch some other players play it. I'll follow the development, like I still follow the development within World of Warships to an extent. But when this game wipes this time, I'll come back when Streets is released. I'm going on the cycle. Everybody is like, Streets at the end of the year. Guys, fucking go and look, alright? Reserve got added, I think it was the 31st of October 2019. Then the Reserve expansion at the bottom, in other words, under the K buildings, that area, etc. I think that got added only June 2020, June or July 2020, when that wipe happened, all right? And then now we had Lighthouse release at the end of the year. So it's been 2 years since a new map, just over 2 years since a new map, and a year and a half from a addition to a map to Lighthouse, all right? And we're not at the second iteration of Lighthouse. We're still at the first iteration of Lighthouse. We're still waiting on the bosses. The actual Lighthouse opening, we get teased a lot about that, but we don't know. They're giving all sorts of clues about 428, etc. I won't be here next week to look at it. I'm away with my friend Defib Dog. We're doing a long-range shooting thing. I'll come back and see what's happened, if there was a patch on that day or not. But realize how far behind they are. And I read the other day, the Unity engine, even though it has more objects than, for example, the Unreal engine, the Unity engine isn't made for this scale of game. So the problems that they run into must be something huge. And there's huge amounts of bugs that still need to be fixed. The fucking air filter still doesn't work. And now people are saying Streets at the end of the year, get fucked. That's never going to be. We're going to see Streets maybe at the end of next year, if you're lucky, knowing this lot. But anyway, so the Q&A basically said, diddly fucking squat, lots of ideas, no timelines. Folks, have a fantastic evening further. Cheers.